Do you want to be president of Sierra Leone?
Tough question. If the party of the SLPP party so dim, any time for use me for any role that...
Just before they use you.
Well,
are you interested? You want to be president?
One day I want to become president in this country. You know why?
Tim Kaba, you want to be president? You want to be the SLPP flag bearer in 2028 for contest for the presidency?
That is at the gift of the Sierra Leone People's Party. I want to... if God wills it, I would want to succeed President Bio.
Waiting they happen to the government, waiting they happen to development, waiting they happen to everything what they do in this nation, you know, and we want to know, and now we write for no. Now we write for no. You know, now I make we try we best for being people, and now we go tell we waiting then they do, waiting at the challenges, waiting at the success, achievements, and who side we they go as a nation. If you don't know who side you they go, na problem than this. So this morning I get the pleasure for welcome na the studios for the very first time the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Alhaji, should I add Mufti? Or Sheikh? Alhaji Timothy Kabana. Alhaji, or you don't go Hajj? You don't go Hajj twice?
I don't do Hajj once and four.
Yeah, you don't do Umrah, yes. You know, that's in there now. Umrah more. I did Umrah earlier this year. It's very divine, you know. You get a different feeling of so let Allah give you the blessing. But good morning, Mr. Minister, and welcome.
Good morning.
It is a pleasure having you.
Absolutely a pleasure having me here, and also it's a great honor on my own part.
Okay, you're very much welcome. We want to look this morning, let the public understand, waiting as a country, waiting now we foreign policy direction, waiting salon tin up for now the international community. We can see you the travel. I see you just come to Kazakhstan. I mean, they tell you say we get 2 footballers the way they play the, you know, you don't go Saudi and different places, don't travel the presence across West Africa. You know, the way where the world they right now, we self go on know, waiting our position. What's our foreign policy direction as a country?
Well, thank you very much, Lamrana, and may I congratulate you on this great achievement of having a radio station that is deliberately named The Truth. And when they enter, they see different buzzwords and phrases on the wall where they say, the truth now in the last. And the truth now in the pave way for a progressive society where every individual take responsibility for what they do, and they obey the rules and regulations of society, where they make all live in peace and harmony. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you.
Thank you.
And there is, of course, a proliferation of media houses in the past couple of years where they should say His Excellency the President, having obliterated the obnoxious libel law, don't clear the field and make journalism a very safe and beautiful practice. I know you can attest to that.
Everybody complain about the cyber law. We get the cyber law. It's in up now here right now.
Well, of course, you know, social media and the very many new media then we don't emerge. You have a lot of informal, rambunctious people where they go overboard, where they take things out of context, where get a tendency for puts the country into chaos. And so there's every society, every space requires regulation.
Yeah,
regulation that will not in any way violates the freedoms and rights of people. And so I think it's progress. Yeah,
it is. The only concern is, you know, the Guild of Newspaper Editors just released a statement. You know, the chairman was taken to CID. It's more like people they use them for targets. It's not just government, even the private sector using it to target journalists, you know, but it's alarming the rate at which it's been used to target journalists mostly. You know, I agree with you, say we need regulation now the cyberspace, but when people tend to use it to go after journalists, to intimidate them, it becomes alarming.
Well, as I say, the freedoms and liberties of people must be protected.
Yeah.
But society can also be a functional society when it is governed by law. And and then law and therefore be obeyed. You and I are sitting here as peaceful, law-abiding citizens, and I pray and hope that state institutions will not misuse
Yeah.
the cyber security law, and that journalists and every citizen also will be law-abiding and work consistent with the rules and regulations where they guide every specialty or every domain. But now let's come to the
So what you're
to
here
foreign
for.
policy. Exactly. Sierra Leone's foreign policy is dictated by Section 10C of Sierra Leone's Constitution of 1991. And the president of the country, in this case His Excellency Dr. Julius Maada Bio, is the chief diplomat. In other words, he gives the directives and vision. He set the vision and gives the directives on how we conduct with foreign policy. Drawing from the Constitution, he say with foreign policy, and for make sure say we protect and promote Sierra Leone's territorial integrity and sovereignty and the interests of Sierra Leone outside of the country, and also for ensure say Sierra Leone be compliant to international law and rules, and they enter into treaties, and how to protect and give our own best to the implementation of them treaties. So in other words, foreign policy is another source of statehood, a source of power for define the sovereignty or the statehood of a country. And as we have always been known as a country, there's no saloon for be a country that is non-aligned, a country where they pursue in foreign policy without exclusion. That means would they get bilateral relations with countries and we'll get shared values and common interest and mutual respect for each other. We are a sovereign nation, and so we would engage with countries and it is in view of what is our interest and the common things that we'll get together with those countries for promote, so that we will bring benefits to our own country and also to the countries that they engage with for bring benefit to them. And Sierra Leone is known as a voice that is principled today in the world. Not least, we close to 2 years being in the UN Security Council, thanks to His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, we lead we to the UN Security Council after 53 years of absence in that highest global institution. We're responsible for global peace and security. And also we do have a fantastic team in New York, led by Ambassador Imran Kanu and a very good team of Sierra Leoneans, young Sierra Leoneans, guided by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, taking the vision and inspiration of the President, the guidance of the President. We are now known as a principled voice. I feel so proud and very blessed that under me leadership as Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sierra Leone has been able to accomplish, and we don't write we name in the annals of the UN Security Council, not least because we're there at a very troubled
I quickly want to ask about them people and the Sierra Leoneans, same way you mentioned, with the work at the UN Security Council. I see, Sierra Leoneans were hired, not from the foreign service. How do we get to that? Because I imagine, say, how do we keep that institutional memory? Because waiting at the fate of them people, we termed it in this September, right? What the fate of these people? They're not in the foreign service. They're hired for work now, the Security Council, and what's the fate of them after we tenure?
Yes, these people were hired as additional staff because the workload in the Security Council is tremendous. At the time we entered the Security Council, we overstretch in terms of the number of personnel we get, and especially with the competencies what we require for support the Security Council, the permanent mission in New York. This
and that can't be found in the foreign service?
Well, the number, we needed the number. Foreign service is a specialized domain, and we had number of staff with just enough for service the embassies that we had and the foreign ministry itself, because we get a lot of domestic work to do. We are, of course, the clearinghouse for all the embassies that we have overseas, and also the receiving house on behalf of government from all the embassies within this country and the consulates there, and from multilateral institutions, development partners as well. So at the time we go to Security Council, we then realized that we needed some skills, skills that are not specialized skills. And through the UNDP, we did this recruitment. But I tell you what, what? These Sierra Leoneans have proven their mettle, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is looking forward not to let this, this experience that has been, garnered by them people here, for make them go away. There will be very, very important hands to be added to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the dispensation of foreign policy.
So, while we talk about capacity of people in the foreign service, countries and they really talk about career, people with the diplomacy. Where in every other system we come, they'll work with them, and then they send different places. How have we get the Foreign Service Academy?
That's correct.
How are we building that? Getting people with this not in life. This is what they do. Whoever comes, they work with them and they provide the knowledge and waiting them for move the country go before.
Thank you. That is really actually what is obtaining in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today. We get capacity gaps, but we try for address those gaps. Like I said, we have 12 consultants already in the UN, 10 consultants, and those consultants have actually enjoyed working in our foreign mission and have indicated interest for continuing for work for Sierra Leone. We're going to bring, God willing, those people into the foreign service. Foreign service is a very specialized industry, if you like, a specialized ministry and an industry. So you're right. People, when they enter foreign service, then they take them finish if they prove themselves worthy of being there. And it's a career path. And we do have very fantastic people in our foreign service. And thankfully, we now have the Foreign Service Academy, which does not only train our staff, but also help to give the basic training of diplomacy, protocol, and other things then to the president in appointed ambassadors and other representatives out of the country. So yes, we are building capacities in the foreign service. I have done perhaps one of the highest postings of foreign service then to a mission. We do have a youthful foreign service, a number of people, an experienced one them, but over the years, quite a lot of people don't go into retirement. But these young folks that we have, for example, in my ministry, my Director General could be below 50. His Deputy Director General could also be below 50. And we have quite a lot of young female that are now taking up positions in embassies where nobody ever be. I mean, we did it out of exigency, but also to give young people the opportunity for show them mettle in leadership. I'll give you an example. We have a young female head of chancery in the Gambia, a young female head of chancery in Senegal, and we get quite a lot of these young people who don't send in different embassies here who are performing very well. And in fact, I'll give you an example. The embassy of Sierra Leone in Senegal, we took a chance on a young lady that actually grew from being a local staff in one of our embassies in Africa to being incorporated into the mainstream foreign service. And today, na HOC in Senegal. And she is doing so well that the ambassador, when the president visited, gave really, really brilliant accolade of the performance of this staff. And all we staff that they really do well because they've been inspired by a set of leaders who believes that Sierra Leone's representation outside the country will be top-notch because it is a reflection of the health, the manner, and the character of a country. And we know, say, we country over the period don't repute itself for be a nation of great minds. And so we feel proud that those young people are doing very well in our missions overseas.
So that now waiting our ask, countries and go wish for get them best minds, them best people for represent them internationally. The people them way they fly them flag. Do we have the best minds with best people them for represent we? You talk about capacity gap and all of that. The capacity of the people them where they represent we out of the country.
Best is a superlative. And the one that will get for the purposes of the work that is required to be done right now are doing it very well. I give you an example. We distinguished ambassador to the UN, Ambassador Dr. Imran Kano, and he's doing very well leading this young team of experts. Within deputy now, we'll get Mr. Kalilu Tutange, we'll get Ms. Edinia Swallow, the former president of Bar Association. These are great minds that are representing Sierra Leone, and everywhere Sierra Leone's name is reverberating in multilateral spaces for the fantastic work they do at the UN Security Council. And also in the African Union Peace and Security Council, we have an outstanding team in Addis Ababa. We also get a fantastic team in Nigeria where they run the bilateral relations between Sierra Leone and Nigeria, and also a permanent mission to the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, which incidentally, His Excellency the President at this moment is the chair of the Authority of Heads of State and Government.
Let me talk a little bit about, one of the concerns them, I don't talk to a lot of people, and before you time now the foreign ministry, one of the concerns is about posting and recall. People and the way they tell you, say, hey, I go this side no more quick, and don't call me back. People and the way don't stay out for a very long time. What the policy on that, and how it is it fairly done? So people are not thinking, because maybe I'm not okay with the ambassador now, the head of Chancery, they're going to call me back, or the minister not like me, and I make them, they call me back.
Look, with all humility, I'm a stickler to policies. And like I said, we have sent quite a lot of good hands to our embassies. The law, the policy is, when you go out, you have 2 years of posting, and then if there's need, either day for another 2 years. And the period should be maximum 4 years. Except otherwise, where there is a need for certain skills, and that skill is not readily vacant in terms of having someone coming from another space, another mission for going to that place there, it is at the gift of the ministry for keep that person until there is a replacement. Under my leadership, as instructed by His Excellency the President, we've ensured that we strictly go by the policy of recalls and postings, and we have frustrated the habit of people using connections back the country for overstay beyond and beyond the time prescribed for them by the policy, depriving other people who should go overseas and represent the country at a time that is required by policy and law for them to go. So there is that fairness. There's a two-way traffic that is effectively being effected in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I want to tell you this. Under my leadership as Minister of Foreign Affairs, supported, of course, by the entire staff of the ministry, my deputy minister, and all of us in the ministry, we don't ensure, say, postings and recalls are done fairly, without bias, without recourse to anything as it used to be some years back. It's not based on political party, it's not based on tribe, it's not based on region, it is based on requirement, and it is based on the policy that is obtaining in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because it's a professional industry, and because it's a professional industry, it must not be run with inconsequential sentiment. It must be run with professionalism, and that is exactly what we're doing.
Let me look at waiting you take over. You know, the former foreign minister, Professor David Francis, been announced a policy shift in Salon. He talk about economic diplomacy to development diplomacy. Waiting are you on shift? Waiting, are we still on that, or there is a shift with, with foreign policy?
I don't have the tools and the gift for change Sierra Leone's foreign policy or even shift them. The Constitution is clear about everything where the Foreign Service for do. Economic diplomacy is one, political diplomacy, defense diplomacy, and all of these other elements of diplomacy. We carry them concurrently. We live in a world that is upended, a world that is fraught with many challenges, and so as we pursue foreign policy, the focus of this pursuit is the interest of our country. Wherever our interest is embedded, we ensure that we protect this interest and pursue them for the benefit of our country.
What is our interest? What are we interested?
Our interest is to promote Sierra Leone's opportunities out there and to attract FDI for our country, and also ensure that Sierra Leone plays an integral part in the maintenance of global peace and security. And it is because of the texture of Sierra Leone's experience in the Security Council and the role they play inside the African Union Peace and Security Council and ECOWAS. That is why President Bio was overwhelmingly voted by his colleagues at this very difficult time. Say, look, you have an atlas of experience in democratic transitions, and you have led your country with distinction. You have been, in the past, a leader during crisis. So you have the texture, and you have, President Bio is a smoke chamber, and it deals with pressure in a way that ordinary minds will find it very difficult and get rattled, and if you like, maybe just get confused and lose it. He's a very, very settled person with atlas of experience, and so the leadership of ECOWAS said, at this very turbulent time in our community, we may need a pair of hands that is stable, a pair of hands that is deliberate in its leadership for make President Bio do the needful in consolidating democratic governance in the sub-region, enhancing cooperation in terms of intelligence and security, and also for bringing trust to the institutions of ECOWAS. We see the president, after an election, don't do at all, which is a novelty. Of course, our sub-region's organization is similarly in stupor. So President Bio, they try for rejuvenate interest, political interest at the highest level, and for ensure, say, the integration of our community once again get life. And I was with him, having prepared all the trips with my colleagues in all these countries, and everywhere President Bio went, his colleagues expressed utter support and trust in his leadership. And they are all very happy that it make this tour for remind them of the importance of multilateralism in the face of these numerous, sometimes very novel challenges. And so this does stoke up enthusiasm amongst the leadership of ECOWAS at the heads of state and government level.
What's the cost on us as a country? What's in the costs, financial cost on we in getting the ECOWAS chairmanship?
Look, apart from the fact, say, ECOWAS Commission, they finance most of the activities of the chair of the authority.
Including traveling?
Yes, sir. We get some amount of fees that is allocated, and also some...
At what percentage?
At what do you mean?
I mean the fees we allocate to ECOWAS.
No, well, we get a laid down figure, and also we get about 0.5, I'm not too sure, about 0.5 of the country's levy, which is paid to ECOWAS, is sent back to the country that is chairing ECOWAS's authority of heads of state and government. But look, the question of money, the question of value for money when it comes to global leadership, this is what it means. Sierra Leone is a member of the organization. And this organization has helped. Sierra Leone is one of the startling examples of countries who don't benefit from the endeavors and the collective support of ECOWAS. Remember in the 1990s, when Sierra Leone was consumed by civil conflict, it was the organization's military and political wing that intervened in Sierra Leone to restore peace and democracy. There is no price in terms of money that is worthy or even proportional to the lives of West African soldiers that perished in this country for the peace you and I enjoy today. If since 1982, the very first time Sierra Leone was chair of the authority under the protocols that then existed immediately after ECOWAS was formed 5 to 6 years then, it is only now that Sierra Leone has been literally President Bio has been literally asked by his colleagues to go through an electoral process for lead. And I think we owe that to the community. We owe that to the integration and to the dream of the forefathers who couched and formed ECOWAS on the 28th of May, 1975.
But Mr. Minister, we not for shy away as well from the economic condition. This is economically we're challenging. Government not pay subsidies. Teachers are complaining, and we get other things that we are very concerning. It comes to financials, and having the ECOWAS chairmanship, I agree with you. ECOWAS don't support we, but is that enough justification that we...
It's an overlay justification, Lamrana. The peace you and I enjoyed today, part of the contribution to enhancing the peace and security that we enjoyed today came from ECOWAS. Apart from even interventions, there are many social, economic interventions of ECOWAS. Yes, I reckon and I really feel terrible about the economic situation wherein Mrs. As minister, sometimes I get challenges with resources in fact, always have challenges with my work in terms of resources. I travel, almost all the travels that I do, I don't travel with any government resource. These are resources that I may have in later days. I use my own resources to pre-finance my trips.
You mean you're paying for your own trips?
Sometimes I pay. In fact, when I don't think has been any time, for example, not that government does not give us...
So you can trust government?
Well, we are all part of government. And as citizens of the country, we owe it to you.
But that's concerning, Mr.
No, it is not. I understand. If we were living in a very super rich country, then you will say, if you don't have resources to go, it's your right that you should be given before you do your work. Let's understand the global economic situation. Sierra Leone is not an exception to the recession where the world go through. It is that understanding and the patriotism that I have to do my job regardless the resources are available or not. As long as I can afford it, I will go about doing it, and I'm doing it happily because it is in pursuit of the interest of our country.
How much then trip can cost? I imagine how much it trust government. Well, how often and how much it trust government? How often?
No, I don't trust government. Me and government not get a credit or trust.
But you the pre-finance.
I pre-finance me trip when it is necessary.
How often you can do this?
Well, most of the times.
Mr. Minister, you don't have budget money not there for travel?
No, it is reimbursed when I come in very good time.
If I imagine, say, it is every year, Ministry of Finance allocates money to the ministry. So this is quarterly, this is what you spend, and important meetings and the way you forgo. You know, somebody go imagine say, no, they then can do ticketing. I understand, say, government can get some understanding with traveling agencies.
That's correct.
Forget tickets.
That's correct.
But if you,
no, no, I don't buy my tickets.
Okay.
Government, like you said, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs get arrangements with traveling agencies that are paid. For example, when I travel, I have to pay for my hotel, DSA, and all of that. And in fact, a press release came from the presidency of Ghana, and somebody mentioned where President Mahama say, anybody where to go for United Nations General Assembly, ministers, deputies, and heads of agencies and departments, then for seek the concurrence of the Chief of Staff. That is what is obtaining in this country. Even before I became Minister of Foreign Affairs, when I was Minister of Mines, every minister or deputy minister that leaves the shores of Sierra Leone for go overseas on any government function, you have to seek the express and gracious concurrence of His Excellency, the President. So there are control measures so that people don't go for inconsequential, unimportant meetings just for use government resources. That process for other ministries, agencies, and departments then can meet up. But the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it's a very dynamic ministry. We can get extemporaneous meetings where by the time I have sent my request for executive clearance, by the time the executive clearance comes out to send to Ministry of Finance to support your trip, you are on the flight going. Your ticket is provided. So we improvise because it is not bureaucratic. It's a control mechanism to ensure that government judiciously uses its resources. In some countries, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs gets a standalone budget on which it works just dynamically, just immediately. But because in view of prudence to ensure that nobody disadvantages the other ministry. And I think that's the reason why the president put that mechanism. We're fine by that. We're fine by that.
You okay with pre-financing?
I'm okay as long as the work of Sierra Leone is done.
In this situation, you know, it pleases His Excellency to serve, and in a situation where you don't pre-finance a lot, then it pleases the president again for relieve you of your duties. You're not gonna worried about getting your money back.
Let's forget about money. Yeah. Let's talk about working for this country.
Yeah, but
government is government. If I'm relieved today, what is due to me, the government of Sierra Leone will make that available to me.
So let's talk about value for money, as much as you don't come with this point. Just yesterday, I see the ambassador to France presenting credentials to President Macron. You know, we just opened embassy in Algeria. We get embassy in Morocco. We get now Egypt.
That's
you know,
correct.
we're able to cover that area. We not get embassy in South America. We don't, do we?
No, we don't.
We don't have in South America.
South American countries are covered. We have 2 missions in the United States. The permanent mission to the UN in New York get a number of countries where they cover South America and the Americas. Then we also get our mission, a bilateral station in Washington, where also they cover some of these areas. You know, you open embassy where you have strategic interest. And that is why, for indicate and a show of President Bio in distinguished foreign policy dispensation and the way he has actually positioned Sierra Leone internationally and even locally. If you watch, we now have more embassies in Sierra Leone today than we used to have. Under my leadership, President Bio's leadership has attracted Morocco. It is under my leadership. You know, we have also got Morocco, Algeria, the all open embassy here, Iceland, and 2 more countries are now working on having their embassies in Sierra Leone before the year ends. South Korea, for example, in the Russian Federation. This, you know, diplomacy is not an inexpensive venture. But like I said, foreign policy dispensation, the implementation of foreign policy is integral to the statehood of a given country.
What's in our interest in Algeria? What's in our business interest, or, you know,
there are many
development interests? What's in Algeria, the investment as alone, if you
Algeria is a key player in the African Union and in the world at large. A stout economy in Africa, and that is strategically positioned as well. And we get long bilateral relations with Algeria. Remember in the 1980s, when late President Shaka Stevens organized OAU in this country, Algeria was one bilateral partner that supported greatly the organization of that particular OAU in this country. At multilateral levels, we support each other, and as I speak to you today, Algeria and Sierra Leone are part of the A3 composition, the 3 African countries in the United Nations Security Council. So apart from for example, this year we have scholarship from the Democratic Republic of Algeria. We get trade people really come out Algeria for Sierra Leone, for can look for opportunities in Sierra Leone. People from Sierra Leone also, they go Algeria, they look for opportunities. And it's a new mission, and we look forward to maximizing with diplomatic, you know, the increased diplomatic presence in the 2 countries for finding opportunities for the 2 countries.
As a country, you know, Usai, the Minister of Finance get for pre-financing trip, and somebody go imagine, say, how do we ensure value for money? How do we cut down on the number of embassies we have in? We not get embassy in Southern Africa, right?
That's
Any
correct.
of the Southern African countries.
That's correct.
And we get embassy in other part them
Yes.
in the country. We under this government we don't get more embassies.
That's correct.
More missions.
That's correct.
How do we ensure value for money? How do we get even the rich countries? Australia doesn't have an embassy. Yeah? They have in Ghana where they cover salon. Canada doesn't. Then gets in Ghana where they cover salon as well, and other countries them. How do we get embassies somewhere where they cover other countries them and cut down on their expenditure, especially in a very challenging time like this?
There are over 190 countries in the world. Sierra Leone has only got 25 embassies out of 190 countries in the world. So that is very minimal. We are one of the countries with the smallest number of embassies. But our embassies are quite effective. And because we are part of the global system, in some countries, it is incumbent on us, forget embassies in other countries, because of the existing multilateral stations that we did. For example, in Kenya, you would want to say, why do we have an embassy in Kenya? Not only for strengthening bilateral relations, but Kenya is the base of the United Nations in Africa, with organizations such as the UN Habitat, UN Environmental, UNEP, and now UNFPA and UN Women are migrating from New York, coming to Kenya. And because we are part of the multilateral system, and that is the importance of us having that mission in Kenya. Now, for example, Guinea and Liberia, these are our closest neighbors. We get historical, cultural, political, economic, and family ties with them two countries here. It is just incumbent that we have embassies in this country. Australia may not have a physical presence in Sierra Leone because it does not fall under its foreign policy priorities. But Australia has over 100 embassies in the world. So that being the case, I'm not going to compare Sierra Leone to those countries.
Exactly.
They have their own interests. The economy is different. Exactly. But as far as we are concerned, everywhere we have established an embassy, it is out of strategic importance to promote, protect the interests of this country and to ensure that Sierra Leone remains a valued voice in the international space. There is always going to be economic consideration. We are not a developed country. We are a small country that is emerging from the ashes of war, a country that was supported through the transition, its transition from a war situation to a war context, from a war context to now a developing country, a country that is also gaining its own space in the international space. So you cannot shy away, despite the fact that we are a poor country, to be representational. We cannot shy away for contribute we own to the global effort where they maintain international peace and security. We are part of the global system and we have to play our own role in the global village.
In the medium-term national development plan, you know, there is this talk about economic diplomacy, you know, and I still ask about value for money. What are the returns we they get from we missions? We get trade attaches and them missions. What the value for money? What the investment? If you could put in percentage, almost we don't get from say, okay, the embassy came with these investors, they're doing this, and this is the
every investment that comes to this country through bilateral means will come through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through our missions overseas. We route the investment and to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We help for direct them to the relevant ministries or sectors. And so the value for money is enormous in every sense you think about. Take, for example, I'll give you this. We have a citizen that has been appointed by the President of the African Union Commission, Dr. Sadio Ba, for being a permanent representative of African Union to China. It took the President's gracious recommendation passed through me for convey to the President of the Commission that here is a Sierra Leonean candidate that we want you to recommend, appoint as a permanent representative to any of the permanent stations. It was done. If Sierra Leone was not an active member of the African Union, having a mission that works day and night for promote Sierra Leonean interest, we will get such a very important, it's one of the highest positions Sierra Leoneans would have gotten in the African Union. So not only do we get FDI coming through our missions overseas, but our being in the international space also create opportunities for Sierra Leoneans for get jobs in multilateral institutions where they also come with remittances to the country. So there are many gains. Every day we see people that come on trade missions. Some of those trade missions end up becoming real business opportunities for the country. Look, the real measure of what comes in terms of economic benefit from a foreign from foreign missions will be determined by the Ministry of Finance. But I tell you what, there's value for money, and the investment is not pouring water on the back of a duck.
Let me talk about the audit report. The audit report highlights situations of misappropriation and embassies, foreign mission, and also one of the recommendations reforms of training initiatives that the ministry, and also for conduct internal audits and all of that. How is the ministry implementing that? I follow the Ghana foreign affairs minister, and there were this complaint about scam with visas or not the US, and they had to suspend operations. He went there, reviewed the whole process before then resume. How are we addressing the concerns there?
So here's the thing. We do now have visa on arrival. So this, that is simplest and the commonest means where people when they visit Sierra Leone, they use right now. They come to Sierra Leone, especially countries that we have bilateral relations with, who can obtain, citizens from countries that can obtain visa on arrival. On the audit report, the audit report, year in, year out, they report on missions them and then fiscal activities. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is, the embassies, they host, for example, financial attaches from the Ministry of Finance, and the head of chancery of every mission, who is the foreign service staff, 9 responsible for the operations of the ministry. Yes, we have had this report. We try, anytime we get for a mission, we allow the HOC comes and answers to those queries. In most cases, the problem is documentation. And it has been a challenge, and that is why it's part of the government overall policy for digitize most of the activities of government. And we're hoping that we serve in the foreign service, we'll try for, go digital for ensure, say, there is little, little connection between resources and the persons that are working in the mission. But that besides, corruption bedevils a country's development. And we have a zero policy for people who they misappropriate government resources.
What's in the disciplinary measure? Because the reports mention issues of unauthorized withdrawals, retired impress, particularly in Brussels and New York.
Well, when this report come out, the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament can invite the ministry, the ministry can invite, in most cases, the ministry can invite the head of chancery and those who have the fiduciary responsibility in the mission for come. Like I say, audit report, it's a diagnostic report where they say there is a tumor or there's a suspected illness somewhere. Then the PAC has that responsibility, and there's anti-corruption. And when they investigate anything, where they find people, guilty of what is reported in the audit, I think anti-corruption and a PAC have the right.
You are aware of any action, or UNA don't ignite like any disciplinary measures based on the reports?
Let me give you, for example, even me sitting here, I had been queried by audit report for documents that was presented, but that was not properly understood by the people who audited, and I was part of the PAC in the committee. We explained to the parliamentarians the circumstances under which, for example, I travel everywhere I go in the world. I seek to meet with the Sierra Leonean community. Sometimes I meet with students. I speak to them, and when they provide protocols for you have to gratify those who provide protocol for you, and you have all this documentation. Sometimes you come, you give. The foreign service gets a own register. People may not tend to understand, but I avail myself to explain to PAC what obtained and why the
yeah, that's you as an individual.
Yes,
I'm asking about
if I do it as minister, I subject myself to scrutiny because it's public fund that is made available to us. Nobody.
How do you scrutinize the people you supervise as well?
The same means that is the PAC of Parliament where they scrutinize. When they bring the report, we have to do your internal. We'll take your internal actions and also allow PAC to take action. If PAC, anytime the PAC refers something to anti-corruption, that becomes an investigative matter, and that is solely going to be the role of the anti-corruption.
What's the status of the former director?
Which former director?
The one where Logan replaced, who was the director of foreign
I
affairs.
am not the head of the civil service.
Okay, it was a civil service action.
The director general position is a civil service role, and that is at the gift of the civil service to do what they want.
There's been this case about, people at the foreign ministry, these allegations, I'm sure you've had them, they connive with people and tell them, say, we go give you visa, we go make you get visa, put their name them for programs, them for travel, we don't implicate certain people of it. Waiting at the measure where they put as minister for this.
I tell you what, every suspicion, not even caught in the act, has been properly dealt with. I guess this thing out there, that people in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they misuse consular privileges. I have always taken the strictest, actions against those, even not caught.
You confirmed it as well?
Well, people have even confronted me on some occasions. They say, Mr. Minister, then say program, then in ministry, how can you help? And I tell them, what do you mean by program? So it does not, when people talk about something too much, if you watch, there's an element of truth. I'm coming. So when this U.S. visa suspension came, for example, we needed to take remedial actions make sure, say, we deal with all the fault lines, cement the fault lines for ensure, say, we get a clean consular operation. And we made some significant changes. I made some significant overhaul in the consular section. And the U.S. ambassador will be hearing me, or perhaps will have this news. The U.S. ambassador has walked up to me in my ministry to say, Mr. Minister, we feel relieved that your new people in the consular section are doing a fantastic job. I have heard that from other important development partners and bilateral partners, that the visa processing now that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is characterized by integrity and professionalism. I feel proud that we've been able to make an overhaul. I'll give an example, for example. General Assembly. Back, the General Assembly thing, be very much chaotic. This time round, this time round, when the topic came from the United Nations for the 80th General Assembly, we take this topic, send them to the Secretary to President for the attention of the President, and we suggested to State House, based on the theme, those ministries, agencies, and departments that may be relevant to the theme, so that we know they take a population of people that are irrelevant to the UN General Assembly's theme. And we worked under the instruction of the President, through the support of the Chief Minister and the Secretary to President. We make sure, say, we only had people who have relevant things to do in the UN General Assembly for me then go.
You get any practical example of somebody where the ministry don't discipline, where involved in this visa fraud and giving visa to people for travel?
We have referred people to the CID, staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I referred them to the CID, and they were taken care of and investigated by the CID.
Like the General Assembly we talk about. So I see a post, a few days ago where they mention even you. So say you take somebody in a Kenema, somebody where they sell food, cookery, man. You can't go to the UN General Assembly. Can you confirm that?
No, I did not take her to the UN General Assembly. I took her, the mission took her to the UN Security Council presidency. In the UN Security Council presidency.
In what capacity?
I'm coming. We wanted to showcase, we had a food tasting event. A food tasting event for showcase Sierra Leonean cuisine to the UN Security Council members and those that were present. We were looking for people where they prepare Sierra Leone dishes. And so the best place for get somebody where get that culinary, unadulterated taste of preparing Sierra Leonean food was to look for somebody.
How was she selected?
She was selected based on many criteria. One of the best, then he called in place Goat Kingdom. I'm a client of that Goat Kingdom in Kenya.
Okay, now you
very
recommend?
Delicious. I recommend it.
So it's because you're connected.
I have a no.
Is that not conflict of interest?
You're
a customer because you like the place, or you like them because you know him.
No. Listen. When the discussion came on having people then for Ghana Security Council, and you know what? She went there, did that preparation gratis. Gratis. You understand? She went to prepare for Sierra Leonean taste. The money not come up from the government of Sierra Leone.
Yeah, but now we pay na government of Salome.
It's not the government of Sierra Leone that paid the transport. But I believe, forget original Sierra Leonean taste. While we employed Sierra Leoneans that wouldn't overseas for also prepare their cuisine, that woman was taken to America to prepare original Sierra Leonean taste. She's back in a restaurant, and the cost of that was undertaken by me.
So this is you taking a woman to the UN,
yes,
because you want to go showcase her.
I want to go showcase Sierra Leonean cuisine.
So again, that's the point. How was she selected? Was it? This is about representing Sierra Leone. Is it just your decision,
no,
or it has to be a ministry or a government decision?
Listen, government of Sierra Leone has a Security Council presidency. This woman went to the UN Security Council to prepare a Sierra Leonean cuisine pro bono provided by me. We needed to showcase Sierra Leonean cuisine. There were other culinary agencies, formal culinary agencies, that were employed and paid from the quota, from the budget of the government of Sierra Leone, because these people get formal setting. And through them formal setting, they were employed, invoicing and everything. You understand? This was an additional person brought,
out of
my goodwill.
Now you do the process for get visa, everything.
But through the government of Sierra Leone, because we needed that person.
But that is you using your office again for on a personal note. Is that not
a personal note. It was to support Sierra Leone.
But why not open up and say, we're looking for a Sierra Leonean, we can go present, Uda una apply, we choose, we select, and somebody go.
Listen, let's don't glamorize the word conflict of interest in what we do. Lamrana, I could say, Lamrana, you're a good journalist. We don't have budgets to cover A, B, C, D. But Lamrana, can you come? I will, for example, finance your coming to come and cover this because you want to contribute to Sierra Leone. And guess what? I come. Yeah. I know it may sound as if I don't use my own office for objectify my own interest.
Yeah.
No. This was my money given out. And Nami, in fact, I go to America, Nami go to market. I buy all the food, this woman cook, and fed the Sierra Leoneans that went there and came back to the country. And she's still in Kenema. Each time I go to Kenema, if I have a taste for food, I go to her.
Why Kenema? Why you choose from Kenema?
Well, I would have chosen from Freetown if I did eat kukri in Freetown.
Okay, now Kenema no more eat kukri.
I didn't know I can go and eat kukri because the taste of cassava leaf na Kenema is distinct from any other place.
Which is why you for me open up the competition. Say it was people from every anywhere. No. Let make the point. Which is why you should have said, I want taste kukri. I want care one kukri go na UN. So una prepare kukri, the minister do food tasting. Then you choose. Maybe there was you think when na Makeni. I'm surprised when you eat kukri na Makeni.
No, I did eat kukri na Makeni.
Oh, na Kenema get the good one.
I did eat kukri na Makeni. You see this man? I did eat kukri na Makeni. Well, I'll tell you what happened. But I'm not well frequented in cookery shop in Makeni because most times where they go Makeni for a short period of time and come. But most weekends where I can go Kenema, I can do throughout the weekend, throughout Nakeni.
You went to school in Makeni?
I did, and I went to school in Kenema. I was born in the East, and I grew up in Kenema before I went to Makeni. I spent quality time in Makeni.
That's cool time. You must don't have you one cookery corner.
No, but don't tell me Makeni.
But the point I'm making is how, if the minister can look for someone somewhere, I say this cookery, it's okay, let go with this person. You don't think saying so same way people abuse the system and use them offices for get visa for people and travel with them?
No. That was a purpose, and in fact, it was indicated why the person was going. It was indicated to the embassy why this person they go now for go cook Sierra Leonean cuisine, and the person was given about 2 weeks visa. The person was only in America for about 5 days and come back to our country and continue work. It's my responsibility to keep the sanctity of our consular section.
But that is what I'm asking. How other ministers then go say, yeah, we have this person, they go do this.
But do you know?
Now this specifically they go for. But they just want the person to have a visa and go and possibly not come again.
No, that's not the case. May God forbid. I am one of the strictest ministers of foreign affairs. We don't sit down there for keep the integrity of a consular section. You can check with the U.S. Embassy. You can check with the British High Commission. You can check with the EU countries. You can check with the other countries. Because it don't mean say Look, to travel to another country, not to a privilege. Not to a privilege. For the other person in this country, not to a privilege. So while we try for make, let's say, obtaining visa is the be-all and the end-all for a human being, no, as long as the process is genuine, the person go and come, you get a visa, and you act according to the type of visa they give you, that is good and perfect, because traveling is also an expression of the liberty of people.
But for us, it has become, people are making, like you mentioned, you get people who don't refer to CID, people are making money out of it, using other people.
And those illegitimate acts are dealt with. I'm not to tolerate that. Now, I tell you, say, the overhaul that we've made in the consular section in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been heralded by the bilateral, the embassies within this country, saying the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, CIS consular section, is doing a fantastic job. We have a young lady that is leading that department, and she has been given quite a lot of accolade for in professionalism and in accountability and transparency.
So this year, the number of people where they go from government, where they go, the UN General Assembly get for reduced?
Yes, because now only relevant people to the thematic issues that are going to be in the 80th UN Security Council, UN General Assembly, not in the go.
So you colleagues them, not vex by you with then stands there. I don't know the way they use for.
My colleagues, as far as I know, my colleagues are all very much compliant to the dictate of His Excellency the President and what we get at the security and at the UN General Assembly. As far as I know, nobody at that ministerial level will misuse the opportunities, will misuse the visa process just for go with people in our General Assembly. I don't think that will happen at ministerial level. However,
you just scrutinize the list and names?
It's my responsibility to do so. Because once we don't get the topic, and the chief minister we don't get to the secretary to president for the attention of His Excellency the President, with the pass memo to we colleague ministers them, say these are the topics, these are the topic of the General Assembly. Ministries that were relevant to this, made and send in the list. Like I said, we have even closed down visa processing because we believe, say, all those that are concerned to this General Assembly of the 80th anniversary of the UN, of the United Nations, their visas are being processed.
How many people will they talk about?
I cannot tell you the statistics because I've not been.
50, 100?
No, I cannot give you a figure. I tell you, say, those that are only relevant.
Is there a quota?
No, there's no quota. What we have is government in your control, and that is why anybody where they go, it is seek for executive clearance from His Excellency the President. And His Excellency the President is already privy to the topic in the General Assembly.
You also vet the people from State House where they be part of the General Assembly?
The President in list where they can, now the President in your State House list, and these are people that are supporting the presidency, that are part of the presidency.
Okay, let me talk about the visa ban with the U.S. You know, it's. I'm sure this September they complete the 90 days or so. The time where for elapse, the way the ban for elapse. Which status we they presently? The U.S. we're talking about accepting people them where then think say them for send back home. How many people will they accept?
I tell you what, people come on a daily basis, and we are working fairly with the United States. I've always said, somebody who gets enter the United States with a Sierra Leonean document, if that person is illegal and the United States feels that person for come, it's a responsibility of my mission in Washington for help. The United States Department, we're responsible for that, for ensuring.
Do you verify if they are Sierra Leoneans?
We do. We have a committee that is constituted by a representative from immigration, by a representative from foreign affairs, by a representative from NCRA. They do the vetting, and when they do the vetting, if they prove say that person traveled to the United States with a Sierra Leonean document, where means in a Sierra Leonean, would they facilitate the repatriation of that person?
How many people are we talking about?
I don't have the statistics, but since.
Well, you say something on the cam. How much?
I don't have the. I don't want to quote an untrue figure, but we have been cooperating with the United States, and these matters have been resolved. You spoke about 90 days. Nobody said by 90 days they were going to lift
They're
up.
going to review.
Yes, every 90 days, the State Department in the U.S., they review, right? And we've been working with the U.S. ambassador to Sierra Leone for find ways for improve on some of the requirements that are needed with the other relevant agencies and ministries, Ministry of Internal Affairs and all of that. Some places and some things and they want to digitize. We need to digitize them. We've been doing our best. Speaking to the U.S. ambassador and to my other colleagues that are affected by this visa suspension, my colleague in Ghana, in Togo, and my colleague in Equatorial Guinea, we are in the same situation. A lot of people were shocked at this, and we're all taking remedial measures for improve on we visa process with the United States. But also, like in the case of Sierra Leone and these other countries, it was stated, say the overstaying of we citizens them. And the visas here referred to, student visa and tourist visa, these are not visas that are facilitated by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. These are not applications covered by our diplomatic note. These are ordinary citizens applying to study in America. These are ordinary citizens applying on their own accord to the United States Embassy in Freetown. Now then they go and then they overstay and do all of these things. The report did not say people who go with service passport or diplomatic passport that have been serviced by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are overstaying in the United States. So it is our collective responsibility to educate the public and plead with our compatriots where they get them privileges here, so where they go, they should not misuse these privileges. And we also call on citizens that way don't overstay for made and give consideration.
Let them come willingly.
Well, if you went willingly, let them come willingly. So what do you want to say? So you want to create a defense?
No, I'm just asking you. You are the minister. I'm not talking for them. I'm just asking.
By you asking me, made them come willingly?
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you are there illegally, the best thing to do is to come
voluntarily.
Absolutely.
Let them show up and come.
Will
the ministry provide any support for them, any incentive?
In the first place, it is our responsibility to take care of our citizens. But this category of visa, when people they go, like I said, it is not to the knowledge of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, nor to the facilitation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We have to be responsible citizens. I would rather, if I was in a similar situation, circumstances are different, but the right thing I will do is to save the name and image of my country and create the opportunity for those who are deserving of studying in the United States, for get them visa and those who have business opportunities for bring benefits to this country, that they also will have that opportunity to do so if my action of coming back home for make sure that the rate of overstay is reduced, I will do so.
So what stage are we presently with the engagement with the U.S. mission? Is there hope that the suspension will be lifted?
It's eventually going to be lifted because we are taking actions that are necessary for improve with immigration image. And like I said, that which has happened through the ordinary means with the plead for let people will be reasonable enough for the image of our country and for not making the entire population of people who want to do business in the U.S., who want to visit as tourists, or people who want to go study, genuinely come back so that they're not going to be affected by this overstay.
Is this in any way affecting governments as well? People in a government we need visa for travel?
My ministry processes for diplomatic and service passport, official passport. Any such application where it come for a relevant program like the United States of America Embassy in Freetown to watch the merit of that and the issue visa.
Let me talk about visa generally. With going to Europe, Sierra Leoneans still struggle. Get for travel, go Guinea, Ghana, or Nigeria. Forget visa. We get embassy in Brussels. We get in Germany. We just don't. The ambassador in France also presenting credential and all of that, and we're still struggling for this. What is the ministry, as a foreign minister, what are you doing for address that problem?
Every country gets in foreign policy priorities. I have been engaging, and it's very strenuous for Sierra Leoneans for travel, go to other countries, for go get visa, for go Europe, for example. Equally so, in some other sub-regions like Liberia and Guinea, they apply for British visa in Sierra Leone. Yeah, And it's the priority where Britain give to Sierra Leone for in visas Sierra Leoneans can apply from Freetown, whereas people in Liberia and some people in Guinea, Kinkana, can obtain them visa for go London. Equally so, many countries out of their own priorities, for example, they get one consular station in the region. For example, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire and Guinea, that is some of the areas, and this is where they apply for EU visas. I have spoken extensively to the EU countries, but most of them, they say it is not their priority for the time being, but then they do consideration. One European country there, Germany, for example, for official passport for people obtaining visa for go Germany, then they obtain the visa, would they apply through the embassy of Germany here in Freetown, and then they do the processing and issue out the visa. Then they send them to Ghana and then facilitate. Hungary, for example, as well, for official visas, they can send people there now for do the process. France can also send people there now for do the process, not only for officials, but for also the public.
Yeah, you process here and they send go Guinea
and come. So it's a work in progress. But like I said, that's
what the challenge is. What's the challenge?
No, it has nothing to do with the health of our bilateral relations with these countries. It has not. It's a priority. Yeah, it's the priority, and the, like you said, sometimes value for money in their consideration. When I engaged the German ambassador that is gone now, he say that there's a procurement going on in the German foreign ministry in Germany for ensure say they procure the services where you go provide the opportunity for issues Schengen visa, not the embassy here in Freetown. But as you know, procurement can take some long time, he told me, and I hope say by the time that procurement is done, maybe the German embassy in Freetown would issue visa in full blown.
How do you cope with we global image? With recently we've been in the news for drugs. Just the Dutch government don't make extradition request for Joshua, Dana Salon, we then say Dana Salon, and all of that. How do you handle this? Guinea, you had to recall an ambassador who allegedly was involved in drugs and all of that. There is still a Sierra Leonean citizen who was arrested in Guinea. What's the update with him before we go further with this question?
I don't know if a Sierra Leonean citizen is in custody. The incident in Guinea was a contraband found in the utility vehicle of the government of Sierra Leone. And like you said, the ambassador was not proven, the then ambassador, there was no fact to the effect that the then ambassador was caught with any contraband. The recall is at the gift of His Excellency the President to send or recall his ambassadors under the circumstances where diplomatic privileges were abused, right? There's what they call the doctrine of abuse of privilege, and that doctrine, where in that case, the president thought it was necessary to reset and have, because it happened with a vehicle that belongs to the embassy of Sierra Leone, and so therefore, vicariously, the embassy was implicated. And so therefore, the president did the right thing to recall the ambassador, who was not in any court found guilty of the contraband. And you come to the other incident of the Dutch government.
I will ask follow up on the Guinea issue. The report indicates that a Sierra Leonean citizen.
No, the report indicated that in the vehicle, contraband was found, and there was a driver where assigned, want to be a local driver, assigned to the embassy of Sierra Leone, who was apprehended. This not trans.
When I not get any information say
this not
Sierra Leonean is in custody in Guinea.
I'm coming. It's not transnational organized crime. Yeah? And because not transnational organized crime, if those people that were apprehended are going to be tried wherever they are going to be tried under international law. And that is at the gift of the government of Guinea, because the contraband was found in the country with them people here. So it is then they use the law that is available to them and the international law that is available on transnational organized crime.
You not get any information of a Sierra Leonean in custody who was involved in this in Guinea?
The driver in question was a Sierra Leonean,
so
but a local staff. Yeah, and this it was at the time I was in Guinea under the custody of the Guinean authorities.
What's in status?
I don't know what the status of that citizen is. That citizen was found with a contraband, and when you are found with a contraband, you're subjected to international law that covers transnational organized crime.
Let's talk about Josh. You know, they ask about how do you...
Who is Josh?
Josh, the individual who the Dutch government is asking for to be extradited.
Asking from whom?
Asking the Attorney General, Minister of Justice don't confirm, say don't receive extradition notice.
Which passed through my office, but then the figure, the shape of Josh is an individual that I don't know.
I'm not asking you as who you know. I'm asking about the states, the government. This now governments to governments. I'm sure they talk to your colleague.
Absolutely.
Yes, they are asking for an individual who they believe is here.
Believe that the individual is here.
That is what they're saying. That is not so the reports say, right? I'm sure that's now waiting good at the documents. And like I say, the Attorney General, Minister of Justice don't confirm this, say don't receive documents. In colleague, they ask for the extradition of this individual. And what's in they ask, how do you navigate in this? This issue of Sierra Leone being related to drugs, to a point, this is a wanted man, and is wanted and is being affiliated to the daughter of the president as well.
I am not aware of the affiliation. I know, like I said to you, the document came through the foreign ministry asking for the extradition of someone of interest to the judicial system in Holland. The Attorney General is dealing with that. And of course, it is the Attorney General that deals with then judicial matters and of course with the security forces in the country. And I think they are doing their job. Of course, how do we navigate through some of these unfortunate situations? It's tough, but Sierra Leone is doing so well that unfortunately this kind of allegations get a tendency for create a picture about the country. But
what's the position of the president on this?
Like I said, the Attorney General deals with it.
I'm asking about the image, the drug allegation.
The president has a spokesperson.
He's the chief diplomat.
But this is not a diplomatic issue.
Yeah, but I'm asking if he's the chief diplomat, he represents the country. You don't sit on a room with him, and how does he navigate? You know, with the image of Salone in situations like
that? The president is doing well, very well. The president is an internationalist. The president has positioned our country's image and stature in the international community. That Sierra Leone today is respected. The president is the chair of the Authority of Heads of State of ECOWAS. When it comes to how the president feels about a particular internal matter, I'm not the spokesperson of the president. The president is upbeat about his contribution to the international global system and his involvement in regional peace and security, in regional integration.
Are you concerned or worried about this image of a drug lord residing in Sierra Leone, being in the news and all of that? You concerned and worried about foreign affairs minister?
I am very concerned about the image of our country. The image, my responsibility partly is to sanitize the image of the country, midwife the image of the country, to make our country attractive for international investment, for our international cooperation. Yes, if we have an ill-gotten image where they emerge from these kind of unfortunate situations, it concerns me. But what
has it been uncomfortable in some meetings where things like this sometimes will come up? Or
nobody brings this to me in any meeting, because meetings I go for are very serious meetings, and these meetings are meetings that have to do with Sierra Leone's contribution to the global governance system, promoting our bilateral relations, and not to deal with something that does not fall under my purview, or something that
the image, you project the image of the country. If there's news about this, I go imagine say something.
Let's leave the Ministry of Justice and the police in this country to deal with this allegation.
Are you in touch with the Dutch government? You and the Dutch foreign minister, they talk? Or is this something you talk about?
There's a new Dutch foreign minister, the erstwhile foreign minister, Caspar, besides the incident or the diplomatic note that was passed through my ministry, meant to we get a very fantastic relationship, working together in the UN Security Council, working as an EU foreign minister and bilaterally and all of that. But I think there's a new foreign minister. We have not had any conversation about that. The justice ministries may be in conversation because I was responsible for the conveying of the initial diplomatic note that came from Holland. Apart from that, I am not privy to anything and I'm not part of any investigation. My responsibility, like you said, like we have agreed, is to midwife and sanitize the image of our country. Domestically, I want us also to focus on the good things we really do out there and let those bit of stains be dealt with the authorities that are responsible for deal with Dentinende. Let's glorify our country's image. Let's promote our country's image so it becomes attractive for investment. It becomes an attractive country. So when you travel anywhere, people will accord the sort of respect that is deserving of a sovereign state.
Timothy Kaba.
Alhaji.
Alhaji, sorry.
Thank you.
Alhaji. Should I add share?
No.
Do you want to be president of Sierra Leone?
Tough question. I am the Minister of Foreign Affairs. We have spent over an hour speaking about foreign policy. That is my responsibility. I belong to a political party, which is the Sierra Leone People's Party. And I'm a citizen of this country. Next year I will be 40 years old. And I am
We should celebrate the birthday together. I'll be 40 next year too.
Well, we thank God for the journey we've covered so far.
Yeah.
And I'm a politician. The Sierra Leone People's Party will also be going into, it's the most viable political party in Sierra Leone's political landscape today. And we'll be fielding in its candidate for the next election in 2028, which is far off from now, which is close to 2.5 years from now. And I think the focus should be on what we're doing today. But a man like me, who came to government with close to a decade private sector experience, spanning from different regions of the world, the Middle East, in Eastern Europe, in West Africa, in Africa extensively, having worked in government as Minister of Mines, understanding the opportunities that this country is endowed with, if the party of the SLPP party so deem any time for use me for any role that.
But you can't forget interest before they use you.
Well,
are you interested? You want to be president?
One day I want to become president in this country. You know why?
Tim Kaba, you want to be president? You want to be the SLPP flag bearer in 2028 for contest for the presidency?
That is at the gift of the Sierra Leone People's Party.
Yes, but you need. I'm asking you. I'm not asking the Sierra Leone People's Party, Uda Denwangi.
Yes.
I'm asking Alhaji Timothy Musa Kaba. You want to lead the SLPP, you get the ambition, the intention for lead the SLPP in 2028?
I don't have unbridled political ambition. Remember, as Muslims, it is written in Surah Al-Imran verse 26. Allah says, Kulilla umma malik al-mulku, tutil mulku mantasha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala na indi gi power to Uda want take gi, na indi take power from Uda e want take power. Biyad al-khair because all powers in this dunya belong to God. There is a sitting president that has given us a mandate, and His Excellency, the task already on me as Minister of Foreign Affairs is quite heavy. But my experience in this country and the foundation that has been built by His Excellency the President, the solid foundation we don't build. If we come to 2028, the Sierra Leone People's Party say, Timothy Kaba, you're worthy of this. Alhamdulillah, I will take it. You know why? Because of my experience so far as Minister of Foreign Affairs in a world that is upended, in a world where the global system is changing rapidly, in a world where countries are becoming very insular with their resources. You need, in a country like this, a leadership that is mentored by the best leader this country has ever had, President Julius Maada Bio, not least because he has been president in this country, head of state, 2 times now, and looking at the challenges ahead in this 21st century, you need the sort of experience that I have humbly garnered from the leadership of President Bio. Interest, I have interest as a citizen, meeting the mettle. One day, if I have the opportunity, I would want to lead this country.
Tim Kaba, they ask you again.
I'm interested.
For be president of Salone?
Absolutely.
You get interest for be flag bearer?
You can only...
Are you going to contest for the flag bearer race?
The way and manner in which things are going to consolidate the gains that have been attained by President Bio and the SLPP, it will only require somebody that has understudied the leadership of the president. At a difficult time, President Bio has been able to navigate this country through difficulties, not least the havoc caused by COVID-19 on Sierra Leone. When I was Minister of Mines, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, we were able to navigate the mining sector. In fact, the time we'll get the largest number of large-scale and small-scale mining companies in this country, ending very difficult legal matters that ensnared the mining sector. In my 2.5 years as Minister of Foreign Affairs, I've seen seismic in global politics. Few decades ago, before I was even minister, the world was similarly a bipolar world. Today, the world is a multipolar world. I have seen changes happening in the world, and I think I am learning, and it's adding to my experience, the sort of experience that this country may need one day for us to navigate through the difficulties that are abound in the world today. I am a leader by my own creation.
Alaji, they make this thing too long for you. You they contest for be flag bearer of the SLPP for the 2028 elections?
If it is the will of God, I will do it.
What is your will? What thing are you wish?
My wish is, may God give me long life and well body. The President Bio succeed when we get to that point. SLPP, we're not... SLPP is not...
President just talking at the convention, talk about which kind of leader una forget for lead, and you know, if I say nobody for come out and say for succeed me, for succeed me. I'm asking you as an individual. We are like 2.5 or 3 years away to the election, and a lot of people only come out and they show interest. Is it wrong for you for say yes, I want to be flag bearer?
But I've just mentioned to you that
so you say you
I am
be
interested.
President
I am interested.
For the flag bearer?
You have to be a flag bearer of a political party, which is the vehicle you will use to go for national election.
Yeah.
I'm a member of the SLPP, and inshallah, because if you get long life and well body, and I think it is in my contemplation, it is in my contemplation because this country, under the leadership of President Bio, has been set on a trajectory that you do not want to disturb. And on
you want to succeed President Bio?
I want to, if God wills it, I would want to succeed President Bio.
You intentionally?
Listen, because this country deserves that sustainable path where the president don't set this country on in a very difficult global system. You see, look, and I see you're right. There are quite a lot of politicians that are out there wanting to become flag bearer for different political parties. And sometimes I look at the credentials of these people, and what I don't desire for my country is in 2028 for us to have a president that does not have statecraft, because the institutions in our country are still growing. We're building on our institutions. In some countries where institutions are quite strong, the apparent experience of leaders may be shaped and guided by those functional institutions. In our case in Sierra Leone...
So then people already talk about it. People already SLPP as well, we want to be president. Do they include those people where you talk about?
I talk about Sierra Leone. In this case, I'm talking about what will we want to see in 2020.
So what do you think about the people that we don't come out? You think, say, you are the most experienced and should be the president?
Well, I tell you what, experience is, it's experience then vary. The SLPP is replete with people with knowledge, experiences, diverse experiences, and people that have served faithfully the party and this country. Very many qualified people. It is the people that will determine who has the requisite experience for chart the president in vision.
But you're not the best.
I cannot say the best. I'm not a rambunctious politician or a young person. I'm very calculated. I'm deliberate. I'm determined, and I am very honest to myself. When I do a personal swath, I believe I have that mettle.
What's in your political capital? What's your political base?
I have been my political base is I come from two important districts in this country. I am an Eastern Pure, born in Kenema district and Tongo Fields, Lower Bambara, and that is the place I call my home. I spent a good time of my formative years in Bombali district, which is also a very important political capital in this country. And apart from geographical advantage, I think I am an individual that looks at Sierra Leone as one entity that has citizens that are blessed and endowed with many natural opportunities. And these opportunities are now being tapped into by President Bio after he inherited what looks like a slowdown after President Tijan Kaba for close to a decade. President Bio has reignited the nationalism and the Sierra Leonean spirit that is needed for the development of this country. Education used to be the envy. People used to envy our country for education. The president has invested in education to prepare citizens of our country to confront the challenges of the 21st century and for our country to thrive and develop.
So your political base are Kenema and Makeni?
Listen, everywhere in this country I have political presence. Let's don't talk about let's not talk about politics, because I have not declared yet that I'm going to run for the SLP.
No, but you got ambition.
I do have an ambition.
So if you got ambition, we need to talk about
when the time comes. When the time comes.
How long will it take you?
Well, it depends. Like I say, everything depends on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm a very patient man. Allah says, He say, Inna Allah ma sabirin. Those who are patient are the people He loves. My job right now is to work as Minister of Foreign Affairs, promote the image of our country, promote the vision of the president. The president's vision is to put Sierra Leone as an enviable country in our sub-region.
You don't discuss your political ambition with President Bio?
I will not speak to you here what I discussed with the president.
No, I'm just asking. If you can say it publicly, is it not something where you're aware of?
What you're doing is you are actually putting words.
No, I'm not. I'm asking. Alaji.
Wait.
No, Alaji, low clarified than
the discussions.
No, Alaji, low clarified than the voice. I'm merely asking you question. It's now you right for say or not say. What you ask now that publicly you don't say you get presidential ambition. President now you boss. I'm asking if this is something where you don't tell him or don't he is aware of as somebody who wants to succeed him.
Well, His Excellency the President is the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Sierra Leone. From now until then, the only thing President Bio and I speak about is reporting on my job, him giving me instruction, not about presidency. The SLPP does not have a presidential contest right now as I speak to you. So it will be premature, it will be highly spirited to converse about 2020.
So presidents only they hear about your ambition now.
How would I know that His Excellency?
No, but it's something they go tell us.
Is this not the first time you and I have spoken about this?
No, that is what. Now,
I don't want to predict what the president. Let's give respect to the president of the country.
Yeah, but the president is your party leader, is your boss, is your mentor, if I could say.
He is my mentor.
So what's wrong for tell you mentor say, Pa? Me, I think say this our 11 give me.
No, you know, our party is a democratic party, and our country is a democracy. I don't think the president will unpick anyone to say you have to succeed me. A president is a Democrat, a proven Democrat. He will allow the party then, for let the party make a decision on who that they feel meets the mettle for succeed and continue with the work of His Excellency the President. So for now, His Excellency and I, we have a mentor-mentee relationship, a boss-servant relationship, an employer-employee relationship. And we have a lot to do right now. We are in ECOWAS. It's a very, very important role. It's a very, very involving role within African Union Peace and Security Council, within our UN Security Council. We've gone to ECOSOC. We get bilateral relations then for deal with. So the job is voluminous. That is where I have my preoccupation right now, and that is where I'm focusing. The President's agenda is the overarching agenda where we get for fulfilled right now. Without the success, and without successes that the President have made, without we don't consolidate them, it will be very difficult for anyone to think about that.
Repeatedly, you don't mention how whatever decision about who becomes flag bearer get for common the members of the SLPP. Which of the camps you did at the SLPP? Na Ibima you did? Which of the camps are you?
I don't know of any camp, and I don't belong to a camp. I belong to a political party called the Sierra Leone People's Party.
And who are you they think say go support you or vote for you in case you declare tomorrow say I want to be flag bearer?
In case I declare tomorrow that I want to be flag bearer, will be members of the Sierra Leone People's Party.
Yeah,
Yes.
but even within party, you must get your own people. You know,
I'm not doing badly in the SLPP.
What are you stake in the SLPP?
It's very high.
How percentage? 100 to.
I am humbly, not least, I am a government minister of a high status as Minister of Foreign Affairs. I have contributed to the party's success and to the success of this country. I remain a very, I am a Grand Chief Patron. I am a Grand Chief Patron of the Sierra Leone People's Party. And all of those credentials actually make me a senior member of the SLPP.
You did between 100 and you did 70, 80?
That will the percentage will reflect on any decision.
Now the ballot box?
On any decision I would like to make.
Okay, you get timeline when you declare?
I don't have any timeline. I'm not thinking about declaration anytime. It is not.
If I want to be, how you go and be
but
president?
when the time comes.
But that is what I'm asking.
No, when the time comes, if I still hold on to it, that my desire is to do this. When the time comes, that will be done.
Okay.
For now, the job has to be done for you and me, for the people of this country.
Okay. Well, I want to let we end on the note of Yenga, you know, and very recently we see a mission we come from ECOWAS, we travel go there and all that. What's in the status of resolving the Yenga issue? We talked to the member of parliament from that party. We clearly mentioned about the challenge where the people and they go. Then livelihood and agriculture, they've been moved out of their town and then they strain and then they go through a lot of challenges. What's in the situation of resolving that issue?
Yenga has persisted, and it's a very challenging and unfortunate situation because here we're dealing with a situation that involves one of our closest neighbors, Guinea. And of course, Yenga can only be resolved diplomatically. And so the diplomatic channels have been utilized. We don't see ECOWAS from the 67th session of the heads of state and government in the communique being for promise say ECOWAS will send a monitoring and evaluation team to Sierra Leone for reassess the situation, and that is what has been done. That will be reported to the MSC, and the MSC will look into the as a mediation and security commission of ECOWAS. We, the Council of Ministers, will look at the report and report to the heads of state and government, and then summit on what is obtaining in the Yenga situation. ECOWAS will take in diplomatic means for resolve the matter. Like I said, there are many mechanisms, but the surest and the most preferred way of resolving this problem is through diplomatic means.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Alhaji Timothy Musa Kaba. I want to talk to people and tell them should they expect, tell them what they never expect from them, will be presidential candidate?
I am the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Sierra Leone, doing exactly what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for do under the guidance of His Excellency the President. Mr. Lamrana this morning, don't put me on the spot. They asked me if I want to become president of Sierra Leone. I am a citizen of this country. I'll be 40 next year. I am sane. I have contributed to this country. I'm garnering experience that is relevant for leadership. If God so permits, when that time comes, I'll come back to the station and do a declaration. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hopefully we'll get you a more onga and can talk about, because we term now the Security Council Day end this September. Yes, December. Okay.
We get one more presidency in November.
Okay. Hopefully when we come, we will look at the progress of onga, value for money as well. We're very important because we spend, for running institutions and they pay staff and all of that. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. It has been an interesting conversation. This is what we now we try for do. Bring people them, ask questions, they answer. Public gets awareness, because the way you get the information, you be empowered and as well. Hopefully the next year we'll get the minister will take messages and calls. They answer direct from the public. But now Truth Morning Devotion, the end for today. But remember, say no matter the challenge where you go through, some 10 days the world will try for run faster, but if you pray, learn, and plan, you go run wiser. Inside Truth Devotion, we rise with the true and the wake with hope, because now that hope they keep with the hope, the kind of hope what the minister gets for be president of Salone. Now that kind of hope they we self get for do the right work now this for ask the question, So if President call it, they say, how do you that you want to succeed me? What will you say?
I said, Lamrana actually put me on the stop, Mr. President.
Thank you so mumuch, Mr. Minister. Thank you to all the people who don't follow me on the Facebook page, YouTube channel, and listen to me on radio on 103.9 FM. Remember, say as always, not through the last, and have a lovely and peaceful day.